Have you ever really stopped and thought about how you see color? You know, the bright red of a strawberry or the deep blue of the ocean? It seems so simple, right? But the science behind it is just fascinating. Today, we're going to dive into the physics and the biology of color to figure out how there's a whole rainbow hiding in pretty much everything around us. So let's dive in.
First up, we're going to start with a question that's so fundamental, you've probably never even thought to ask it.
No, seriously, what is it? Is it something that's just in an object? Is a banana just born yellow? Well, the answer is kind of mind-bending, because the color isn't in the banana at all.
That right there is the key to everything. Color isn't something an object has, like how heavy it is. It's all about the light that bounces off of it and into our eyes. So if we want to understand color, we got to start at the source, the light itself.
And that brings us to the source of pretty much all the color we ever see. White light, like the light from the sun. It looks kind of plain, right? Colorless, but it's hiding a secret.
This idea totally flips what you'd expect on its head. White isn't the absence of color. It's the presence of all the colors, all mixed together. It's a full-on color party happening in every sunbeam. But how do we prove it? How can we actually see this for ourselves?
Well, we can unlock it with something as simple as a prism. When white light passes through it, the prism bends each color just a little bit differently. This process is called dispersion, and it basically fans all the colors out, and boom, you see what was hiding inside that beam of white light the whole time.
And there they are, the classic rainbow spectrum, from red all the way to violet. Every single color you can possibly imagine is just some combination of these basic building blocks. Okay, so the light part makes sense, but how do our eyes actually handle all this information? All right, so now let's bridge the gap from the physics of light to the biology that's happening right inside your own head. Because what's out there in the world and what we experience as color are connected by our incredible eyes and brain. I mean, our visual system is just amazing. We can distinguish between millions and millions of different shades, subtle greens, vibrant purples, you name it. It feels almost infinitely complex. But here's the wild part. All that complexity, all those millions of colors, it's all built on a super simple foundation. Your eyes, the very things creating this colorful world for you, are only actually detecting 3 specific colors of light. Yeah, just 3. Your eyes have these tiny specialized cells, and they only respond to the primary colors of light: red, green, and blue. That's it. Think about that for a second. Our brain creates millions of outputs from just 3 simple inputs. So if we only detect 3 colors, where in the world does something like yellow come from? This is where your brain just works its magic. It's like a little mixing board in your head. It gets signals from your red detectors and your green detectors at the same time, mashes them together and tells you, hey, you're looking at yellow. And if all 3 detectors, red, green, and blue, are all firing at once, your brain just goes, that's pure, bright, white light.
Okay, so let's try to put these 2 huge ideas together. White light has all the colors, and our eyes only see 3 of them. So how does all of this explain why a lemon looks, well, yellow?
Okay, here's the absolute key to the whole thing. When that white sunlight hits an object, the object doesn't create its own color. The color we see is simply the one little piece of the light spectrum that the object bounces back or reflects to our eyes. So, every color hiding in that beam of white light has one of 2 fates. It either gets absorbed by the object, basically soaked up and turned into heat, or it gets reflected. The reflected color is the one you see. And this brings us right back to our lemon. When sunlight hits it, the skin of the lemon is basically absorbing all those other colors, the reds, the greens, the blues, all of them. But it doesn't absorb yellow. Nope, it reflects yellow light straight back, it hits your eye, and your brain goes, yep, that's a yellow lemon. Simple as that.
And look, this isn't just some neat science trivia. This stuff has huge practical uses in fields that are all about playing with light and how we see it.
Just think about photography. A photographer knows they're not just taking a picture of an object, they're capturing the light bouncing off it. So if they change the lights, maybe add a colored gel, they can completely change which colors an object reflects, bringing out certain features or creating a whole mood. The screen you're looking at right now, it's doing the exact same thing, using tiny red, green, and blue lights to trick your brain into seeing millions of colors. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here.
First, that plain white light you see everywhere is actually a mix of all the colors of the rainbow. Second, your incredible eyes build this entire colorful world from just 3 simple signals: red, green, and blue. And third, and maybe most importantly, an object's color isn't what it is, it's what light it bounces back at you.
And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. Our entire visual world is built on our eyes detecting red, green, and blue. But what if we'd evolved differently? What if our primary colors included, say, infrared or ultraviolet? The physics of the world wouldn't change one bit, but the world we experience would be completely, unrecognizably different. It kind of makes you realize the reality we see is just one version of what's really out there. Thanks for joining me for this one.